Abusuafo memo bibia kwa aba aba kwa Magenta TV plus so YouTube so na abusuafo se de site na abrebia na ba na chese the latest news and updates ahodwa ekoso o my Ghana ma say no and de babesum obibiara na abusua ene de ensem ababeka yensa no edutwem ano odene na abrebia no so no ensem bia bekoso bia no ya adwen se yentena so ye de beba na de babesum obibiara se de bia so benya biahwe wohu nsema ekoso o my Ghana ma say na abusua mempesem kasbet tenten krenko na enko video ya me de atosu emfambra eba na also waba be kire wadwen or comment section on say de ebe ya ebe ma bibia so atimi aye kama enko video ne mfambra
we anas court no bo anas for and some that utie judge na otena case na nim no really not the buy no some emotional comment be or church shame. I think that the Supreme Court judge ankasa condemn that particular way. Say some na okan na ye no ye nsema ye friend saying nisa judge ekasa asem na courtroom
as if so ni anas was
exactly I don't know okwatena bia ba ba bi na wo nom o we na fa wani so asa sansem hunu no ho na ye ka no ye ntena court dem en use the court as an avenue to settle personal and emotional score you have with somebody. Because the wedding and a kind of or crafty, in the judgment, you cannot just say he'll be a terrorist based on what you understand. But he said all these things in the ruling, so clearly, a give you a certain notion. He said he has some personal vendor to be scores to be against Anas, because don't forget that the same Anas, in the past, aye exposure. Exposure no echi judge for mpanimfo mu okroma ebinumu je mponche ebinumu na ma eda. So within the judicial fraternity in Ghana no Alaska there is this fracture Anas akoso to the reputation of the entire judicial way so there are this your friend is saying nema esha manfo mu, and that is one of those things demonstrated here in the ruling, because however Anas be fair in that judicial proceedings. They say, Odi for Krana, you don't use that unprintable words as a judge in your ruling to describe a journalist. As a journalist, answer na Akufo-Addo abang ebeba power. Abang na Kennedy Agyapong kanwa campaign no mo yema Ghana for no. They use the same Anas principle to approach Ghanaians.
Very well.
In their bid to fight corruption. Say yaba. We will employ the Anas principle. Anas principle no be any said the city Alaska. Anas principle or ma would them maybe say na ebansa na we are there no. Na why na man be ni operation obi any how of us operate. And Akufo-Addo knew, the MPP government knew. But eba ya ODBD or mono. Then
and the principle no chain no.
The principle no chief president the chain as for and I yakobo Kennedy Agyapong pa ono na kan.
That's right.
Say he was hired by government. Say ono na no den onko kansem and otuguma. So Alaska issue no could be a US. And then so babontia Anas so dipem. So within the media space there is this
Anas a default on that issue in Ghana.
Na wako dipem
a US.
Yes.
So what is it to you? This judiciary way no US and Ghana.
Alaska, we in problems with our judiciary in Ghana. Never ho. But with this particular way, let me explain few things about Ghana for better.
Okay.
Alaska, the same case of the same equivalence. Ebetimi esi. Ye bedi wo Ghana ha, ubedi for. Yabako did the same case US ubedibem. It's possible.
Really?
Oh yes, it's possible because we are talking about two different jurisdictions. Two different jurisdictions. Ehwasem na yeka. Obia amra so far as your friends say defamation is concerned, totally different. There are similarities because my culture says so. Most of the international agreements na ya sign Sa abrofo no bahade omunyuma bahaya. They don't want to say assembly by a court because even though you practice democracy, but within or my na differences. Kakrebi. So if you are not careful, Nasa Okasi use on my adjudicatory process. Na settle whenever there is this way misunderstanding. And I'm saying when you're well versed with the local laws, who ebia na nkoyi ama so abrofo no the investment but most of them prefer international laws.
Okay.
And they are standard practice. Yeah. Anything a Ghana for you sign contract near abrogate here, but you see a court arbitration.
But if it's a standard laws, it might be applicable to all nations, or
yes, they are standard way I establish it to I no, you need changes be unlike this defamation way because Ghana has say a case your friend say charge it will be for your friend say defamation. There are certain conditions that must be satisfied.
Okay.
And those conditions, they are slightly the same, but a bit different. And if you go US, state by state, Obiana and because US, the law on defamation, is based on state laws and a bit of constitutional principles.
Okay.
So it is the US First Amendment, and regulating this issue of contempt and as a form. But by Ghana has said, not say contempt. There are certain the burden of proof, lie on whoever are or allege and the prosecutor to prove that indeed this basic element, akoso one Alaska nipa no yes ya ye we na asem na okan no hwan na teye se me no ko dem na me gu anim ase a won't see me for contempt.
Okay.
Because answer na wetimi see obi for contempt, there must be a third person,
a third party
we publish it for the person to know say nsem na okan no what. And again, nipa na ye kan asem na kire no, he should be a reasonable person of society. Na dwi mu da ho asem na okan no, because uko jina bodamfo school na me ko di whatever bodamfo mu a Alaska uko see me enko ba bia
nipa no cross so tia so ye bodamfo.
They are not right thinking people of society abetimi die omo jina ho aka asem. So you see, and uko US Alaska defamation case you were nipa or your public person and your private person. So obi a very popular like the US president, and conditions are you need to satisfy and sana wetimi awene your friend is saying defamation is different from a private person.
Okay.
For instance US president na samba obi aka bi. So unless say comments now be making is motivated by malice or being reckless say kwose no anya sa sometimes you are protected in your defense they are be fair comment and as a personal opinion on public issues.
So when you can't win that case against.
No.
Okay.
You can't win. And your friend say asem na wo kan Ghana say you need to know asem na wo kan enya no kre. Your force just say wabo team na wo kan. And your friend is saying asem na wo kan no so egu nipa nanim as ni reputation. And make say answer na obi reputation ube lower in the eyes of people those people must be right thinking men of society.
Okay.
And I'm catch say okwa abodamfo school na me no ko jino na ye ko e wa abodamfo mu na me gu anim ase even though nipa o ho ma te the question is they are not right thinking men of society. Is that no fan come bia what I say. So I think that these minor differences I'm not saying that is what happened in that case, but matisa amanfo can say because we win I'm saying that it's possible so the same case ubetime di no ha ebekwa ama we the same case ubetama call another jurisdiction.
I'm only serious because but this is that somebody just sent a message from UK say I've a reference in it to say anybody winning one wakata abodamfo but US obi adwumu da ho.
That is it. But that is not what I'm saying.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. So I'm saying all this just to in average jurisdiction.
So that you understand.
So people to and this thing is not applicable to this case. I'm just making a general comment. Before I come to announce the way, I'm making a general statement that because in every jurisdiction, conditions that must be satisfied to establish case of defamation, in every state, even in the US, every state,
okay.
Because conditions that must be satisfied in maybe California. Is conditions different from
Alaska
or any other state.
Good.
There are slightly different. Ghana follow common law, so most of our defamation will establish.
Let's dive into that the issue.
So, announce the way case na cause Yes, your friends say, Baby of Freedom France, I send them, don't pay Bill Gates. So, it's can't say no, a cab of ye.
That's right.
And the court of goodness. And Alaska, so would see said and some Lucy Corso. Not quite a woolly fast Babon thing. Now, shall quite a judge your crow and fast or handle the same issue. The ruling now or the buy, you know. Na and some of the wedding, no kind of fast and some more kind, yeah. And I generated a whole lot of controversy.
Good.
Because the judge printed and as I say, just a so criminal idea. A bit my so people were hoping to see say the extent of criminality that was projected in the ruling here in Ghana, no, at least a certain degree must reflect in American situation. But Alaska, two opposite things. That is why I'm for say. There is a problem. So what's the argument?
Appointed judges.
Yeah, appointed judges. Maybe yes, because it's been seen the history of this country that said Judge Becca said, "Obiya, your first also then something terrorist."
Oh yeah, or you shoot that.
Yes, investigative. Also investigative terrorists. There's an unprintable words. So in terms of criminal ladder, no. What project announce to WMO or your criminal so be mad. So the same case in all time they call US, even though the basic laws no are a bit different in terms of establishing case of defamation and so forth. I'm saying say announce it I'm 20 so Ghana and you expect at least in Kobelo back to I'm 3. But Alaska where you to form the international which means there is no way why establish. So that will give people concern. Then people will zoom in to the nature of the judiciary. Exactly. And yet here in problems in that. How our politics it so deep. Don't forget to say now Anas was going against political establishment. Corruption was so deeply entrenched in everything that they did. And it's over here, there was consensus among government officials and people.
But don't forget, sir, in 2016, Anas exposing Ebwa MPP Mahmoudi Badawa.
Oh, Nanas and I say I don't know more found.
I went not go to use that bas principle, Anas principle.
That's right. See, I didn't start a conversation. I start free or no. And in Alaska, Oba ya didn't see or movie, you know. And now chrono no senya there's an NDO. Na akwasa wo hwe seasonal movie episode 1 episode 2 sometime episode 1 kwa wo hwe wie na 2